The Backrooms, The Infinite Labyrinth, Level 291, Lost at Sea, Survival Difficulty, Class 2, Unsafe, Secure, No Known Entities. Level 291 is the 292nd level of the Backrooms. Image caption: an image of the cargo ship taken via a drone. Description: Level 291, at the surface, appears to be a large cargo ship floating in a lake, surrounded by mountains. It appears to be carrying approximately 100 TEU shipping containers when viewed from above via drone. However, traversing this boat would reveal that it is an infinite landscape, making it impossible to reach either end of the ship. Attempts to climb on top of the aforementioned shipping containers would be in vain. When reaching the top of the containers, wanderers will find themselves back at the bottom where they started. For the most part, Level 291 is devoid of entities. However, this doesn't mean that there isn't any level of danger present. It is noted that after spending an hour in this level, despite not being able to see the open sea, people begin to fall ill, causing nausea, vomiting, headaches, and fevers. The cause of this is unknown, but, in most cases, off the shelf medication is usually enough to alleviate these symptoms. This illness is commonly referred to as quote unquote seasickness due to the nature of the level. Containers. Most of the shipping containers on this level take on a dull gray color. There are no records of anyone being able to come across an unlocked gray container, so, unfortunately, nobody knows if there is anything inside. However, if you travel far enough away from your starting point, you can come across three different types of containers: red, blue, and green. These color coded containers are locked most of the time, but if you are lucky enough to come across one that is unlocked, there's a chance of coming across some supplies. The section below goes into more details on these colored containers and what you can find inside of them. Red containers. Red containers are the most common of the three colored containers that can be found, although, most of the time, they are void of anything inside. In rare cases, you might be able to come across a few particles from fire salt. Blue containers. Blue containers are not as common as red containers, but are still somewhat easy to come across. Upon opening this container, you will find it to be filled to the brim with almond water. Curiously, however, the water stays in place instead of pouring out. Going inside of the water block, you can sometimes find metal water bottles. Green containers. By far, green containers are the hardest to come across. However, most, if not all of the time, upon opening them, you will find it to be completely furnished with chairs, couches, lighting, and even electricity and gas for cooking. They resemble modern day shipping container homes. It has been noted that for some unknown reasons, walking inside of one of these containers seems to alleviate the symptoms of the aforementioned quote unquote seasickness. Further research is required into this property. The most unusual part about these types of containers is the singular window it has. Peering through this window reveals the open sea, no matter where the container actually is. Attempts to climb out the window have been in vain, pushing the user back inside of the container. Curiously, however, throwing items out of the window has been successful. Addendum: it is noted that when attempting to connect to Wi Fi on this level, web pages are unable to load, and are replaced with a white screen with the text, "Get off your electronics. Enjoy the view." Log/logs. This is a transcription of a recording by a young boy named Adrian Fukushima, who offered to do a bit of work for the Meg in exchange for supplies. After ending up in this level, Adrian started recording on his phone. Before the log begins, it should be noted that most of the information on this article was written after this log was sent to the Meg. Keep that in mind when reading this. Begin log. Adrian. So, I somehow ended up here after no clipping into the roof of that other ship level. All I see is just shipping containers. I think this might be the deck of the ship. The sounds of waves crashing and birds squawking can be heard in the distance, confirming his theory. Adrian. By the sounds of it, I'm correct. That Meg guy said to just look around the place and to keep my bat close in case anything jumps at me. Guess I better get a move on. Adrian shuts off the recording to save space on his phone. Looking into the metadata for this next recording, we can gather it takes place about an hour after his initial footage. Adrian. From what I can tell, there's almost fucking nothing but shipping containers here. Ah, I hate this damn place already. My head's starting to hurt just from being here. Once again, Adrian shuts off the recording. The next recording takes place 10 minutes from the previous one. Adrian. I should have mentioned this earlier, but every shipping container I've come across was gray, except for this one, which is red. This one's got a padlock on it, though, and I didn't bring anything that could help me get this thing open. I guess I'm shit out of luck for now. Another cut in the recording, this time with a 5-hour gap. The video starts with a shot of Adrian looking a bit pale and sickly. His voice takes on a weak tone. Adrian, I. I feel fucking horrible. It's like, the longer I stay on this fucking ship, the more I feel like death. I want to go home already. I want to sleep. I hate this place. I need to fucking find a way out of here as soon as I can. A confused expression forms on Adrian's face as he notices something in the distance. Adrian, who the fuck are those guys? He cups his mouth to have his voice travel farther, calling out to whatever is there before he utters out a swear, quickly getting up and running, accidentally shutting off the recording in a panic. Unfortunately, this was the last we have heard of Adrian. For now, we're just hoping that he somehow escaped that encounter. We will update this log as we learn more about the situation. Bases, outposts, and communities. Boatmen. There are no known bases or outposts on this level, but there have been reports of a small group of 5 people wearing bright yellow ponchos around the level, armed with sheer metal spears, presumably made from the shipping containers that are in this level. It is unconfirmed, but there has been one report of one of the men having a firearm. They are reported to be extremely hostile and will attack on sight. Interacting with this group is not recommended, and it's advised to steer clear of this group at all costs. One thing to note about this group is the color of the spears they hold. It's theorized that they have some sort of hierarchy based on the color of spears, seeing as there is only one member of the group with a green spear, and they all seem to follow his lead. Entrances and exits. Entrances. No clipping into the ceiling in level 17, the carrier, will often lead into level 291. On level 11, the city that never sleeps, it is possible to spot a shipping container in the middle of the street. Going inside of it will transport you to level 291. Exits. Hatches can be found scattered across the level on the floors. Opening and entering these hatches will lead to level 17, the carrier. Attempts to no-clip into unopenable shipping containers will transport you to level 37, sublimity. If you wander long enough, you just might come across a container with what seems to be confetti painted onto it. No-clip into this, and you might just end up at a party, smiley face. Note, see level 26, the SS Fun, smiley face.